G'day and welcome to another episode. My name is Daethstro, the Aussie Geek, and today we are looking at the war for Cybertron Siege Brunt. So this guy is a weaponizer, so I will stay off the bat. I will not be going into his weaponizer transformations. They're more for your imagination and for you to decide, so I'm not even going to count them as part of his transformation. He's not like Fastlane, who turns into a spear for Scorponok. So I'm just going to be sticking to robot mode and his vehicle mode, which, ironically, in G1 he didn't even have a robot mode because he was a simple vehicle partner for your Trypticon. Even though, by the way, those hands look, it looks like he should be partnered up with Scorponok. So take that for you will. Also, I will point out that I know this guy came in a silver version, and honestly, with that head, with the red visor, the mouth plate, and this guy all in silver, he reminds me, and I don't know if it's intentional or not, of a Battlestar Galactica Cylon. So yeah, take that for what you will. He is a lovely shade of purple. He does fit the Season 3 Decepticon aesthetic colors, so he does fit very well with Galvatron. A little bit with Cyclonus, not so much with Scorch, but definitely with Octane and Galvatron. So there we go. He does look really good. Yes, he's got a bit of a backpack, which, being a weaponizer, he comes apart, so you don't have to actually have that there. If you do not want to, you can go stick that in a box. So there we go. And of course, he has his weapon, and if I can find them all, he does have ports, which I suppose you can put your weapon effects on. I'm literally just looking for some more, but they're just the initial ones I can see. He does have 5mm ports here, there. I think I got them all. Oh, one here. I was going to say one under here, but no, not with that one. So if you want, you can actually take his gun and put it wherever you want, so you can actually make him hold his gun, even though it's at a rather weird angle, because it's more a hand weapon than a sort of forearm weapon than a hand weapon. He will not hold any of his pincers. It's too, the handle's too shallow, so there's nothing. Oh, well, there you go. I managed it. Every other time I've done this, there you go. He doesn't hold very well. It'll sit there just, but you're lucky. You're really lucky if it holds. So I'm just going to put that back in here. So as for articulation, we might as well do that first before we do our size comparison. Head does do a full 360. It can look back, but that's more for transformation. Doesn't look down, doesn't go side to side. Arms do a full 360. They come out this far. They have a bicep rotation. They do have an elbow, even though you have to sort of bend the forearm this way. So he's more like this, which does get you that far. He has no wrist rotation. He has no fingers over here. He has his pincer thumb, if that's something you want to use. He has waist swivel. He has sort of a backwards ab crunch, but once again, that's more transformation kicking in there. Leg goes out this far, goes up this far, goes back this far. You can, of course, take that off and it'll go even further. He has thigh rotation. He also has a little bit of knee rotation due to what's probably going to happen next. You do have knee bend that gets you that far, and if you go any further, it's going to pop off. It's supposed to do that, just so you know. He also has ankle tilt that gets you that far. Doesn't go up or down. So there we go, and we get him all nicely situated again. So there we kind of go. There. All right, so here he is with MP10. No, don't feel like you can Galvatron out. So just under Prime's crutch. Depending on where you put the head, shoulder, it's a little bit higher. No comparison with Trypticon, unfortunately. If you would like to see a size comparison with Galvatron, with Trypticon, simple solution. I have a poll that's been going on for the last couple of weeks. It's to decide which character I will do, or characters I will do for my next milestone, whether it's 100 subscribers or 25,000 views. And the choices are, of course, Generations Metroplex, Titans Return, Triptychon, Kingdom Omega Supreme, and Power of the Primes, Predator King, which will be 6 videos back to back, so 5 for each of the bots, and then the 6th one, combine them together. So if you would like to see one of those for one of those 2 milestones, make sure you vote. Don't think anyone has, just saying. So let's get down to transformation. Now there is a piece that you don't need to take off, but I'll do it this way, and then I'll explain to it when we get back to robot mode, what you don't actually have to take off. But we're going to take arms off, we're going to take torso off, we're going to take backpack off, we're going to take legs off. And now we have Weaponizer Lego Soup. Alright, so first things first, we're going to take the torso, we're going to pop the head back, and then we're going to fold the torso up, so we have basically his waist sticking this way. Oh, you have these ports too, but these 2 were blocked. I'll point that out after. And you have these 2, although this one is more for arm port, this one's used for whatever you want. You also have this peg, and all we're going to do is slide that back. Alright, next we're going to grab the arms, and you want to line them up so you have the yellow, and so that the pincer is down the bottom. Flip that up, compress that. When I decided to do this guy, I forgot that actually compresses, and then close up the claw, and then you have this peg here that's going to go into this one, I think. Yep, that one. And that's the only piece that holds the arm in place. There's no tabs or anything for back here. All right, same on the other side. Close the pincer up, compress that, take it and plug it in on the other side, like so. And we have a little 2-track tank. You can display it like that if you want. You know, put a blast effect in there, and it would look like it's zooming. All right, next we're going to take this piece and we're going to fold in the knees, or knee pins, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to put it this way, so the tracks are on the bottom, and that plugs back in there. All right, next we're going to do the legs and this piece. Now you can put this in like this, but due to what I'm going to do, I'm going to hold off. Now what I do is, I turn that around, so this piece and the tab, the port, and I just thought I saw a little bit of stress mark there. So this piece here and this piece here sort of line up, so to speak. All right, so you're going to come under here with this one, get your nail in there, and you're going to put this peg into this hole, this peg into this hole, like so. Now there's no specific way to do this, but I'm going to do it this way, so the handle is pointing down. What I'm going to do is there's these circles here which fit into these grooves. Now it's on both sides, so like I said, it doesn't matter which way you do it. I'm just going to do it this way to make that peg disappear. Of course, you can always use that as, you know, an individual gun if you want, and then just sort of line that up. Trying to get that ankle tilt working. Get in there. There we go. And that peg will just sort of go into here when you bring it down. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these 2 pegs to plug into these 2 ports, like so. As long as, like I said, you can do this before putting the gun on. I just find it a little bit more easier to put it on after the gun. So that way, you know, if you've got to articulate things, the gun's in place, like so. And we're almost done. We have these 2 pieces left. This is going to go into here. Now, with this, you can put this any number of places. You can put it up here, put it over here. I'm going to put it over here, and I'm going to put it so this is facing towards me, just because I reckon that looks cooler, sort of looking like a targeting reticle. So there we go. There is Brunt in his vehicle mode, and he does roll, although with my glass table, he more slides. And you have these wheels here for the tracks. And that is a pretty good example of what his original G1 tank mode looked like. It was basically a solid purple tank with the gun, so there was no transformation. As far as I know, there was no sort of peaking headpiece. This was all purple. The tracks were purple and all this. You can Google a G1 Brunt if you want to see exactly what it would look like. But yeah, so he does look good. He looks like I would call it a Scorpion tank. Now, because of the pincers and that, but no, he just sort of fits for me. Plus, it's been a long time since I've played Command and Conquer. But you do get some ports in here. You have here again. You have back here. You have over here. And I think that's it. And you have these ports still here. These tabbing points. And I don't think anything else. We've got this one here. This one here. You can put something on there, I suppose, if it'll fit. And you can always put something at the end of the gun if you wanted to go. So take that for what it's worth. Sort of press things down so it sits flat. All right, size comparison. Here he is with Windblade. So she's obviously a lot bigger than he is. So there we go. Right, let's get this guy back in. Oh, articulation. He does have a little bit of articulation. You can turn the turret 360. It can go up this far, and you would think that this is stopping because of this plastic piece in here. It's not. It's actually the sides here. And of course, you can drop that down if you want a more ground-based one, although that hinge, honestly, going by the angle, that hinge is the only thing that kicks into gear when I put it this way. I don't know why, but the other one's a bit stiffer. But, you can up, down, spin it around. So, but I'm assuming he's a more of an artillery cannon. I don't remember. He didn't actually ever show up in the G1 cartoon. He might have shown up in the Japanese stuff. I don't know. But yeah, so there is that. Now let's get this guy into robot mode again. So I'm just going to unplug the gun. We're just going to unplug this. We're going to untab all that and fold that back in place. Also, if you want to know which leg is which, just look for the articulation and the heel. So that's left leg and right leg. We can unplug this, which is a little tight on mine. Come in there. Come out. There we go. We're going to untab the legs, the arms, and then we'll leave this. So this is the step that you didn't have to do if you didn't want to, but it was the hips. So basically all you're doing is rotating there, and that puts that the right way around, and you can pull this out, and then you can fold this all down. So that puts his legs where they're supposed to go. So you don't have to unplug it if you don't want to, but technically you're supposed to, but that's beside the point. So I'm going to put this little peg back here, just press up against his belly, and come back here and get his knees out of there. I'm going to, and I've somehow turned his head, flip the head up, if that's in the right spot, and we have our torso. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece, and I'm going to take these two ports and plug them into here. So that gives him his backpack. And once again, I'm going to rotate the backpack so this piece is pointing down. For some reason, I don't know if it's just my imagination or whatnot, it tends to give this this port a little bit more room. Don't know if that's just a wives' tale. It's just the feeling I get when I plug him in. So take his legs, double check which leg's which, plug that into there, plug that into there, and we have legs again. Take the arms, and we're going to keep this part facing forward. We're going to pull that out, which is a little tight, and bring that down. Now, you want to sort of angle it a little bit, because if you put it straight down, and he does actually sort of have an inwards, I suppose, there, but if you have it straight down and try to peg it in, it's rubbing up against that hip. So there's not enough room. Also, if you don't want to actually put it up here, you can put it down here and have it like that. It does bring the shoulder forward a little bit further, so it's up to you if that's something you want to do. I don't want to do it, but you might want to do it. If you can still get this guy, up to you. So, once again, facing towards me, unpeg, fold down, angle, plug that in, and we're almost done. Once again, we can put the guns and pieces wherever we want. You can put this on the forearm, somehow fit down the back, maybe put them in the shins, up to you, but I'm going to put them together, and I'm just going to plug it into his back. It's the same as Slammer. I prefer Slammer's gun on his back than I do in his arm, in his hand. And there we go. There is Brunt back in his robot mode. And like I said, he still looks cool. He usually stands next to, I want to say it's Nitro, which is Trypticon's car. Literally, they stand at Trypticon's feet. Eventually, I'm hoping to get a new shelf, so I don't know if that'll stay permanent, because right now they're staying on the floor. But yeah, so this guy stands next to Nitro. I think it's Nitro. If it's not, I'll correct myself at some point. But yeah, so he is good. If you can still get this guy, do it. Get yourself a Brunt, even if you don't have a Trypticon, because he is a great, honest figure. He is the most, how would I put it? He's the most robot transformer I've ever seen. He feels like one of those robots you would get for like $5 from a toy store that just sort of, rolled on its wheels or looked like it came off something off Star Trek or something like that. He's a big purple bruiser that, honestly, I have a feeling putting this guy and, say, Shockwave into a room, Shockwave's logic might be... actually, I'll tell you what. This guy, honestly, I reckon he would have made I don't know the characteristics, but I reckon he would have made a great member of the DJD. Yes, he doesn't transform into anything like the torture devices and whatnot that most of the DJ did, but honestly, Tarn and his tank mode, and this guy with his artillery cannon mode, perfect combination. So that's just my opinion. But if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, give me a thumbs down. I promise you it will not hurt my feelings. Subscribe, ring that bell, leave me a comment. I do love responding to comments, so please still keep doing this. More people are starting to comment. I am absolutely loving it. Please continue. I'm absolutely giddy with joy being able to respond to comments. But thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.